How did one just friends night turn into me getting served in a public lobby in front of people from my own life? What happens when a husband stops begging, stops yelling, and starts doing everything the legal way instead? And why did I still try to call him the villain while I held papers that changed our home and our kids' schedule? My name is Eulalie Mercer, and I used to say I was a loyal wife. I said I worked hard, I kept the house running, and I carried the stress for both of us. I also said my husband, Grant, did not see me anymore. I told myself I deserved one good night. I told myself that one night could not break a marriage. That Friday started like any other. The kitchen smelled like coffee and toast. Grant asked if I could be home early because Milo had a school thing the next day. I said I would try. He asked if I was upset with him because I was quiet. I said I was just tired from work. That was true, but it was not the whole truth. At the office, my phone kept buzzing. Candy had made plans for a rooftop bar downtown. She sent me a photo of the place and said it would fix my mood. I told her I might not go. She replied that I always let Grant decide my life. When she wrote that, my chest felt hot, like I had been caught doing something weak. I told her I would show up for 1 hour. I told myself that was a safe promise. When I got home after work, Grant was already cooking. He asked why I looked dressed up. I said I had to meet friends for a quick drink because Candy had a hard week. He asked what time I would be back. I said before midnight. He asked if Dylan would be there, because Dylan often came to those nights. I said it was not a big deal and that Grant was acting jealous. He said he was not jealous, and he only wanted to know the plan. I told him I did not have to give him a full report like he was my boss. Milo ran in with a drawing and asked me to look. I looked for 2 seconds. Then I said it was nice and that I had to go. Milo asked if I could read him a story later. I said yes, like I meant it. Grant watched me put on lipstick. He asked why I was being sharp with him. I said he was the one being sharp by questioning me. I remember feeling proud of that answer. I thought it proved I was strong. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. The city lights looked like little screens. Candy hugged me and said I looked alive again. She told me to post a picture so people could see I was not stuck. I laughed and said she was dramatic. Dylan appeared with a smile and a drink already in his hand. He asked if I was finally free tonight. I said I was just out for fun, not escaping prison. He said he liked that I talked back. I told myself Dylan was harmless. I told myself he was only a friend who made me feel interesting. He stood close when music played. He asked if I wanted to dance. I said yes, because I did not want to look boring. Candy filmed us for a short clip. She said Grant would hate it, and she laughed. I said Grant needed to learn that he could not control me. I said it like a rule. My phone buzzed around 10. Grant asked how it was going. I said it was fine, and that I would be home soon. He asked if I meant it this time. I said he was being unfair. He replied that he was only waiting because he worried. I did not like that line. It made me feel like the bad person. I answered that my phone might die, and that he should go to sleep. Then I put my phone face down. Time moved fast. Candy ordered another round. Dylan asked if I wanted to step outside for air. I said yes. On the smoking patio, he told me I looked tired of being the good wife. I said he did not know my life. He said he knew enough because my eyes looked hungry. I laughed and said he was full of big lines. He told me I deserved attention. I let those words sit on my skin like warm light. At midnight, Grant called. I watched the screen ring and ring. Candy glanced over and asked if I was going to answer. I said no, because I did not want to ruin my mood. Dylan said Grant should not treat me like a child with a curfew. I said I was not a child. I also did not leave. Around 2, the bar started to thin. Candy wanted food, and Dylan said he knew a diner that stayed open late. I told myself that food was normal. I told myself it was safer than going to someone's place. So I went. The diner had bright lights and tired workers. Dylan ordered pancakes like it was morning already. Candy took a photo of my plate and joked that I was on a single-girl breakfast. I told her to stop. I did not stop her. Dylan asked if Grant ever made me feel chosen. I said Grant loved routines more than people. Dylan asked if I still wanted this marriage. I said I wanted respect. He asked what respect looked like to me. I said respect followed results, and I had results. I remember saying that and feeling smart. Now I hear how cold it sounds. My phone buzzed again. Grant asked if I was okay. I stared at the message and typed a quick reply that I was with Candy and I would be home soon. That was half true. He asked why I was still out. I said we lost track of time. He asked if Dylan was with us. I said yes, like it did not matter. He did not answer for a while. Then he asked me to please come home. I said he was being dramatic and that I needed space. When the sky started turning pale, Candy finally wanted to go. Dylan offered to drive us. I said I could take a ride share, but he said it was fine. In the car, Candy leaned on the window and fell asleep. Dylan asked if I felt guilty. I said no, because nothing really happened. He said guilt did not care about rules, it cared about truth. I told him he was overthinking. I reached my street just after 6. Birds were loud. The houses looked too clean for the way I felt. I walked up my steps and tried to make my face calm. I told myself I would act annoyed, not sorry. I told myself Grant was the one who pushed me away. That story felt easier to carry. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. The front door opened quiet. Inside, the kitchen light was on. Grant sat at the table in his work clothes, like he never went to bed. A cold mug sat near his hand. He looked at me without blinking. He asked where I had been. I said I was with Candy and my phone died. He looked at my phone in my hand. I said it came back on later. He asked why I did not answer his calls. I said I needed space and he should respect that. He asked if Dylan drove me home. I said yes, and I said it was not a crime. He asked if I understood how it looked. I said he cared too much about looks and not enough about my feelings. He said my feelings mattered, but so did my choices. I told him he was twisting it to make me the villain. I told him he always did that. Grant stood up slowly. He did not shout. He did not block the door. He said he would not argue while Milo was asleep. I said he was acting like a saint for doing the bare minimum. He paused and asked if I even heard myself. I said he was judging me, and that judgment was a kind of control. I walked past him and went to the bedroom. I expected him to follow, to fight, to beg, to do something. I wanted that, because it would make me feel important. But he stayed in the kitchen. I lay down, still wearing my clothes, and waited for footsteps that did not come. Sometime later, I woke to a sound from the closet. It was not loud. It was a steady zipper sound, like someone closing a decision. I sat up and saw Grant lift a suitcase handle. He did not look at me when he pulled it out. He just carried a packed bag past the bedroom door without looking at me. By the time the sun was fully up, Grant was gone from the bedroom. The house felt wrong, like someone had moved the walls a little. I went to the kitchen and saw the chair he used still pushed in. The sink was empty. The counters were wiped. It looked like he had cleaned on purpose. I checked Milo's room first. Milo was still asleep, curled into a ball with his blanket. I stood there and watched him breathe. I told myself I was still a good mother. I told myself a mother could have one messy night and still be a mother. I believed that because I needed to. When I went back to the kitchen, Grant was there, but not like before. He stood by the window with his phone in his hand. He did not ask where I went again. He did not ask what happened with Dylan. He asked one simple thing. He asked if I planned to tell Milo anything. I said Milo did not need adult drama. He said he agreed. Then he asked if I planned to stop posting things online. I said I posted nothing that morning. He said he meant the whole pattern, not one morning. I did not like that word, pattern. It sounded like a report. It sounded like someone had been watching. I asked where he went with the suitcase. He said he moved some things to the guest room. I laughed and asked if he was trying to scare me. He said he was trying to calm himself. I told him he was being cold to punish me. He said he was being careful, so he did not say something he would regret. That line made me feel small, so I attacked it. I told him that waiting up all night was his choice. I told him he liked being a victim. I told him he used worry as a leash. He looked at me like he was looking past me. He asked why I could not just say sorry. I said I would not say sorry for living. He nodded once like he was closing a door in his head. He went to the guest room and shut the door. It was not a slam. It was a quiet click. Later, Milo woke up and came into the kitchen in his socks. He asked why Dad was not making eggs. I said Dad was tired. Milo asked if Dad was mad. I said Dad was just stressed from work. Milo asked if we could still go to the school thing tomorrow. I said yes, of course. Grant walked in right then. Already dressed, already clean. He asked Milo if he wanted cereal or toast. Milo chose toast. Grant made it without looking at me. I told myself Grant was trying to punish me with silence. I told myself he was acting like a saint so I would look bad. That idea helped me breathe. After Grant drove Milo to school, I called Candy. I asked if she could come over. She said she was still in bed and laughed. She asked why I sounded tense. I told her Grant packed a bag. Candy said Grant was being dramatic. She said men loved control, and when they lost it, they threw tantrums. I said Grant did not throw anything. Candy said that was worse because quiet men were scary. I liked that word because it made Grant sound like the problem. Candy told me to post something before Grant posted something. She said I needed to control the story. I said Grant would never post. Candy said I did not know what men did when they got embarrassed. She told me to write a short line about needing space and peace. She said people would understand. So I did it. I made a simple story post. I wrote that sometimes a woman needed air and that not every husband understood that. I did not write his name, but I knew who would read it and think of him. I watched the little hearts pop up. It felt like a warm drink. When Grant came back, he saw my phone in my hand. He asked if I posted about him. I said it was a general post about mental health. He asked why my friends were messaging him with rude jokes. I said I could not control what other people did. He said I could control what I fed. I told him he was policing my life again. He walked to the hallway and opened a drawer near the office area. I heard paper shift. Then I heard a small click, like a lock. That drawer was never locked before. I stepped closer and asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I asked what he needed to organize so suddenly. He said the household. I said the household was fine until he started acting strange. He looked at me and asked if I believed that. I said yes, because I needed it to be yes. That afternoon, I went to work. The office felt too bright. People looked up when I walked in, like they were waiting for a line in a show. Candy had friends in other departments, and news moved fast. At my desk, I opened my computer and tried to act normal. My hands shook when I typed. Marisol, my manager, asked if I had a minute. She said it softly, but her eyes were sharp. In her small office, she asked if everything at home was okay. I said yes. She asked if I was safe. I said yes, of course. She asked because someone had reported a concern. I asked what concern. She said she could not share names. I said people were overreacting to a private marriage issue. Marisol said private issues became public when people brought them to work. I told her Grant was being unstable and jealous. I said he did not like my friends. I said he waited up on purpose to trap me into guilt. Marisol listened and nodded, but her face stayed careful. She asked if Grant ever came to the office or contacted anyone here. I said no. She asked if Dylan worked near us or visited. I said Dylan was not part of my work life. That was a lie, because Dylan had picked me up once near the building, and a receptionist had seen it. I told myself it did not count because it was outside. When I left Marisol's office, I saw two co-workers whispering near the printer. One of them looked at me and smiled too fast. My phone buzzed with a message from Sloane. She said Candy told her everything. She wrote that I should not let Grant win. She said I should remind him that he needed me more than I needed him. I stared at the screen and felt proud and sick at the same time. That evening, I picked Milo up from school. In the pickup line, another mom waved at me but did not smile with her eyes. Milo got in the car and asked why Dad was quiet lately. I said Dad had work stress. Milo asked if Dad would still sleep in his room. I said yes, soon. Milo asked if I promised. I said yes. I did not know if it was true, but I said it anyway. When we got home, Grant was in the kitchen again, making dinner like it was a job. He asked Milo about school. Milo answered happily. Grant asked if Milo wanted to help set the table. Milo did. Grant smiled at Milo. He still did not look at me much. After Milo went to his room, I tried a softer voice. I asked Grant if we could talk. He said we could talk, but he would not argue. I said I did not want to argue. I said I wanted us to be normal again. He asked what normal meant to me. I said normal meant trust. He asked how trust worked when I stayed out until morning with another man. I said Dylan was not another man, he was a friend. Grant asked if I would accept it if he did the same with a woman from a bar. I said that was different. He asked how it was different. I said it just was. He did not laugh. He did not yell. He only nodded, like he was taking notes inside his mind. As he walked away, his phone lit up on the counter for a second. I saw a calendar reminder flash. I could not read all of it, but I saw a place, name, and a time. It looked like a meeting. Then the screen went dark again, and he took the phone with him. I stood in the kitchen and listened to the guest room door close with that same quiet click. Sunday came too fast. I woke up with my phone in my hand like it was a shield. I checked my story views before I checked on my son. That tells you something about me, but I would have denied it then. I told myself I was just staying aware. I told myself image mattered because people judged women first. Grant was already up. I heard him in the kitchen, moving like he was following a list. When I walked in, he had two mugs out, but they were not side by side. He put one near the sink and one near the edge of the counter. It looked like a line between them. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said yes, like I deserved it. He asked what my plans were today. I said I might meet Candy for brunch. He nodded and asked if Dylan would be there. I said maybe, because it was a public place, and I could not control adults. Grant said he was not trying to control adults, and he was asking because Milo would be with me today. I said Milo could stay with Candy for a minute if Dylan showed up. Grant looked at me and asked why I kept making it complicated. I said he was making it complicated by turning everything into a problem. Milo ran in, holding his shoes. He asked if we were still going to the park later. I said yes. Grant said we could go after lunch. Milo asked why Dad slept in the guest room. Grant said he had a sore back and needed space. I felt relief that he lied nicely. Then I felt annoyed because he looked like the calm one. At brunch, the place was packed. People wore sunglasses even inside. Candy waved her arm like we were celebrities. She hugged Milo and told him he was getting tall. Milo smiled because Candy always gave him extra attention. Dylan arrived 10 minutes later, like it was planned. He asked how I was, and he said my name like it meant something. Candy grinned and asked if I had escaped the warden. I laughed and said, Grant was not a warden. He was just sensitive. I said it like a joke, so it would land like a joke. Noah was there too. He sat a little away from Candy, like he did not want to be in the same picture. Dylan asked Noah why he looked so serious. Noah said he had errands later. Candy rolled her eyes and told Noah to relax. I watched Noah watch Milo, and his face looked uncomfortable. I told myself he was jealous of our fun. I did not allow myself to think he might be ashamed. Candy pulled out her phone and asked if we could do a toast video. I said sure because I wanted to look confident. Dylan leaned close on my side. Candy lifted her phone and said we should toast to freedom. I laughed and raised my glass. Milo asked what freedom meant. Candy said it meant grown-ups being happy. Milo nodded like he understood, but he looked at me for a long second. Dylan asked Milo if he liked soccer. Milo said yes. Dylan said he used to play too. That made my stomach tighten, because Dylan should not sound like he belonged near my child. I pushed that feeling down and smiled harder. Candy posted the video fast. She tagged me, and she did not tag Grant, but it still felt like a message. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I was not doing anything illegal. I told myself that meant it was fine. My phone buzzed on the table. Grant asked where we were eating. I replied that we were at a brunch place. He asked who was there. I said Candy and Noah. I did not mention Dylan right away. I told myself I was protecting Grant from stress. Dylan saw my screen light up and asked if Grant was checking on me again. I said yes, and I said Grant had trust issues. Dylan shook his head and said I deserved a husband who was confident. I did not correct him. A minute later, Grant asked again who else was there. I typed that Dylan was there too. Grant replied that he was not okay with Dylan being around Milo. He asked me to keep Milo away from it. I answered that Dylan was not it, he was a person, and Grant was acting paranoid. Grant replied that I could call it whatever I wanted, and he was still not okay with it. I felt my face get hot. I wrote back that Grant was trying to control my friendships through Milo. Then I turned my phone face down like I won. After brunch, Candy wanted to go to a nearby gym because she said she felt guilty about pancakes. Dylan said he could come for a quick workout. I said yes, because leaving would look like I was choosing Grant's boundary. I could not stand that thought. Milo sat with Noah near the lobby for a while, playing a small game on Noah's phone. I told myself that made it safe. In the gym lobby, I saw a neighbor from our street. Her name was Denise, and she usually talked too much. That day she looked at me, then at Dylan, then away. She asked how I was doing. I said great. She asked how Grant was. I said he was being moody. Denise nodded like she had heard a story before. She said she hoped everything worked out for Milo's sake. Then she walked away fast. That small moment bothered me more than I wanted. It meant the street was watching. It meant my private life was not private anymore. Instead of getting humble, I got angry. I told myself people loved judging a woman. I told myself it was unfair. On the way home, Milo asked why Denise did not talk long. I said she was busy. Milo asked why Dylan was always around lately. I said Dylan was a friend and that friends helped when someone felt sad. Milo asked if I was sad. I said I was tired. Milo asked if Dad was sad. I said Dad was stressed and needed to relax. Milo said Dad did not look relaxed. I told Milo to look out the window. At home, Grant was in the driveway. He stood near his car, like he had just arrived, but the engine was off. His car was pointed toward the street instead of toward the garage, which was strange. He looked at Dylan's car behind mine. He did not yell. He did not walk up to Dylan. He only waited, like he did not want a scene. Dylan said I should tell Grant to calm down. I told Dylan it was fine, and that Grant always acted like this. I walked to Grant with Milo beside me. Grant asked if Dylan brought me home. I said yes. Grant asked if Dylan had been around Milo all day. I said Milo had been safe, and Grant was exaggerating. Grant asked Milo if he had fun today. Milo said yes, but his voice was small. Grant asked me to speak inside. I said I had nothing to hide, and we could talk right there. Grant said he would not talk about adult issues in front of Milo. He told Milo to go wash his hands. Milo went inside slowly, looking back once. That look made me feel a pinch of shame, but I turned it into irritation. Inside the kitchen, Grant asked me to stop bringing Dylan near our son. I said Grant was acting like Dylan was dangerous. Grant said he was not calling Dylan dangerous, and he was calling the situation unhealthy. I said Grant was using healthy words to control me. Grant asked if I heard myself. I said yes, and I said I was protecting my freedom. Grant walked toward the hallway. I followed because I wanted the last word. I heard a soft beep from his phone, like an app starting and stopping. I asked what that was. He said it was nothing and told me to stop chasing shadows. Then his phone lit up again, with a missed call that showed no caller ID. He looked at it, then put the phone away without reacting. That scared me more than shouting would have. Later, when it got dark, I stepped onto the porch to cool off. I saw Grant's car still pointed toward the street. It looked ready, like it was waiting for the right moment to leave. I told myself he was trying to intimidate me. I also knew, deep down, that he did not need intimidation anymore. He had moved past that. The next day at work, I tried to act like nothing was happening. I walked into the office with my shoulders high. I smiled first. I said good morning first. I did that because I wanted control. If I looked normal, then my life was normal. Marisol called me into her small room again. She asked if things at home were getting worse. I said no. She asked why Grant had called the main line and asked for HR hours. I said he probably dialed wrong. Marisol said he did not sound lost. She said he sounded calm and clear. I told her Grant was trying to make me look unstable. Marisol asked if there was any safety risk. I said there was no risk, and I said Grant was lawful to a fault. Marisol nodded, like she wrote that sentence inside her head. When I came back to my desk, my computer screen blinked with an email from the school about tomorrow's event. I forwarded it to Grant because I wanted to look cooperative. He replied fast. He said he would attend and he would handle Milo's pickup after. He did not add hearts or soft words. It looked like a business message. That made me angry, even though it was polite. At lunch, Candy texted me a long message. She said my story post got attention. She said people agreed that husbands needed to stop acting entitled. She asked if I wanted to do a short video about women needing space. I told her maybe later. I told myself I was careful. The truth was, I was scared Grant would use anything I posted. I did not know how. I just felt it. That evening, I stopped at the supermarket. I pushed the cart fast like speed could fix my life. Milo needed snacks for school. I picked things without thinking. At checkout, the line moved slow. I tapped my foot and watched the cashier scan items. When it was my turn, I slid my card like normal. The screen beeped and showed declined. I laughed and said the machine was picky. The cashier asked if I had another card. I said I did, and I tried again. Declined again. People behind me stared at my back. My face felt hot. I took out my phone and checked the bank app. It asked for a code I did not have. I tried again. Same. I told the cashier my bank must be down. She said it happens sometimes. I used my credit card instead. It worked, but my hands shook. In the car, I sat for a minute and stared at the steering wheel. I told myself it was a glitch. I told myself Grant could not touch my money. Then I remembered how he said he was organizing the household. I heard the small click of that locked drawer in my mind. When I got home, Grant was in the kitchen with a laptop open. He closed it as soon as I walked in. I still saw a grid like a spreadsheet for 1 second. I asked what he was doing. He said he was tracking bills. I said I could do that, because I worked in HR and I knew systems. He said he already did it. I asked why he acted like I could not be trusted. He said he did not say that. He said he was keeping things clear. Milo ran in and asked if we could play a game. I said yes, but my head was full. Grant told Milo he could play for 10 minutes, then start homework. Milo groaned. Grant asked if Milo wanted help. Milo said yes. That hurt me, because Milo did not ask me first. I told myself Grant was turning Milo against me. I did not tell myself that I earned it. After Milo went to his room, I tried to corner Grant with my voice. I asked if he froze my card. He said he did not freeze anything. He said he moved some accounts so bills would not bounce. I asked if he was punishing me. He said he was preventing chaos. I told him he was making chaos by acting like a stranger in my house. He said it was also his house. I followed him into the hallway. The guest room door was half open. I saw his suitcase on the bed. I saw a neat stack of shirts. I saw a second phone charger on the nightstand, like he planned to live there. I asked if he was leaving me. He said he was not discussing that with me tonight. I said he was avoiding the truth. He said he was avoiding a fight. He walked to his desk area and pulled a folder from a pile. The label faced me for a moment. It said, Utilities. Under it, I saw another one that said, Bank. He turned them so fast I wondered if he wanted me to see or not see. He put them into a drawer and locked it. The lock click was soft, but it felt loud. I called Sloane. I told her Grant was playing games with money. She asked if I cheated. I said it was not cheating. She asked if I stayed out all night with Dylan. I said it was one night, and nothing happened. She said people were talking, and it sounded bad. I told her Grant was making it sound bad. She asked if I wanted her to talk to him. I said yes, because I wanted pressure. 2 days later, we had dinner with Grant's parents at a family restaurant. It was not fancy, but it was public. That mattered. Grant liked public now. He asked Milo to sit between him and Patricia. I sat on the other side with my hands tight in my lap. I told myself Grant was using Milo as a shield. Patricia asked how work was. I said it was fine. Howard asked Grant how he was sleeping. Grant said he was sleeping enough. Patricia asked if we were okay. Grant said he wanted to keep dinner calm for Milo. I smiled and said I agreed. I said it like I was noble. Candy texted me during dinner and asked if I needed backup. I did not reply. I watched Grant talk to Milo about school, like a normal father. I waited for Grant to look like the villain. He did not. After Milo went to the bathroom with Patricia, I leaned toward Grant. I asked if he told his parents lies about me. He said he told them nothing. I said Patricia was looking at me like I was trash. He said Patricia was looking at facts, not stories. I asked what facts. He said he was not doing this at dinner. I said he was doing it by being quiet and smug. He asked me to stop insulting him in public. I said he deserved it for embarrassing me with his sad husband act. Howard cleared his throat. He asked me to lower my voice. I said I was not loud. Grant looked at Howard and then looked at me. He asked me again to stop. I said he always had a team, and I always stood alone. That was not true, but it sounded good. When Milo came back, Grant paid the bill without looking at me. In the parking lot, he walked Milo to the car and buckled him in. He told me the pickup plan for tomorrow. He said he would take Milo to school, and he would also pick him up. I asked why. He said because it was simpler. I asked if he was keeping Milo from me. He said no, and he said Milo needed routine. At home that night, the air smelled faintly like toner again, like paper had been near a printer. Grant went into the guest room and closed the door. I stood in the hallway and listened. I heard a low hum, like a shredder in another room, then nothing. I went to the kitchen for water and saw a small sticky note near the sink. It just said, "Bring forms." There was no name on it. There was no date. My stomach turned anyway. I held the note in my hand and told myself it was nothing. Then my phone buzzed with a bank alert I could not open without a code, and I realized I was losing access to my own life one careful step at a time. The next few days felt like a slow slide into something I couldn't control anymore. I kept telling myself it was just a phase, that Grant was overreacting, that this would pass if I just kept pushing forward. But his silence was louder than anything he could have said. It gnawed at me in the moments when I was alone with my thoughts, when I wasn't distracted by the noise of people or work. I spent a lot of time on my phone, looking at the same message threads, posting half-hearted pictures, and trying to convince myself I wasn't the one on trial. I told myself Grant was being dramatic, that I was allowed to have fun, that I didn't owe him explanations. But when I opened my bank app and saw that I still couldn't access certain accounts, when I remembered the sticky note telling me to bring forms, I started to feel the walls close in. I wasn't in control of my own life, and the thought of losing that control, of losing everything, unsettled me more than anything else. I didn't tell anyone about the note. I didn't tell Candy. I didn't tell Sloane. It felt like the first time I had something that didn't belong to anyone else, something that was still just mine, even if it was nothing but a few words on a scrap of paper. That evening, when Grant came home, he acted like nothing had changed. He asked about Milo's day. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. It was the same conversation we'd had every day, and yet it felt like we were standing on different sides of a huge, invisible divide. I could feel it, but I couldn't name it. He was still calm, still distant, still making decisions without asking me. I hated it. I hated the way he could be so composed while I felt like I was falling apart. I tried to push it out of my mind by focusing on Milo. I made dinner, we ate together, and I tried to act like everything was fine. But when Grant handed me a glass of water later, his fingers brushed mine, and for the first time in weeks, I felt the weight of the quiet tension between us. It was thick, suffocating, and for a brief moment I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Instead, I just took the glass from him, said nothing, and walked away. I went to the office tower because I thought public places were safe. I thought Grant would never risk looking petty in front of strangers. I told myself he still cared about being seen as a good man. The lobby was bright and cold. People walked fast with badges on. I checked my reflection in my phone camera and fixed my hair. I wanted to look calm, like nothing could touch me. A woman in a plain blazer stepped toward me. She asked if I was Eulalie Mercer. I said yes. She asked me to confirm my address. I said she didn't need that. She said she had legal documents for me and needed to confirm identity. I felt my stomach drop, but I kept my face flat. She held out an envelope. I asked what it was. She said she was serving me. I said this was humiliating. She said she was only doing her job. I saw Grant across the lobby near the elevators. He did not walk up. He did not stare. He just stood there like a person waiting for a ride. That made me angry because it looked controlled. I took the envelope and opened it with shaking fingers. The first page said it was a divorce petition. The next pages said temporary orders. I read words like exclusive use of the residence, and financial restraints, and parenting schedule. I reread them because they did not feel real. I looked up and walked toward Grant. I told him we could talk in private. He said we could talk through the proper process now. I said he was doing this to punish me. He said he was doing it to protect Milo and to stop the chaos. A security guard glanced over. 2 people from my building slowed down like they recognized me. My face burned. I told Grant he was making me look like a criminal. He said no one said that, and he was staying lawful. I said he was cold. He said he was finished arguing. My phone buzzed with a school message about pickup. I checked it and froze. The message said Milo would be released to Grant today, and the schedule attached matched the papers in my hand. I tried to speak again, but Grant stepped into the elevator. He said he would handle it properly, and the doors closed between us.